Hey there, this is Patrice Washington from patricewashington.com, where we chase purpose, not money. I'm back finishing up part 2 of my interview with award-winning film and TV producer, best-selling author, internationally known preacher, and spiritual success coach, Devon Franklin. Stay tuned because you want to hear about why relationships really matter as you build your career, as well as why Devon says prayer just isn't enough.
Is because too often when it comes to success, we only look at someone's tree of success. We don't actually go and examine the roots beneath the tree. And so what I wanted to let people know is like, look, people who may know of me may think, well, he's got this company and he's got Megan as his wife and all that kind of stuff. Like, oh, it's just all easy.
Right.
I was like, no. Let's go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, we talk about the bottom. Yes, I drove Benny Medina. First of all, Benny is awesome and truly one of the most powerful and influential managers. Really, when you look at the history of entertainment, when you look at the careers that he's been behind and how he has shaped so many lives and careers and elevated artist profile, it's amazing. And he still manages Jennifer Lopez to this day. So, what he's done with her is incredible. So at the time, he was managing Babyface, he was managing Puffy. And so for me, when they said, hey, well, Benny wants you to drive him, I was excited because it was an opportunity. Man,
you say that in the book, but
yes.
You know how many people would be like, I'm not doing that. Why would I drive him around?
But that's why, I'm going to say the truth. That's why those people are not here right now. And I don't mean here because of their mortality. I mean here because of their hustle. Because too often we overlook opportunity that's being presented. It doesn't look like what we want. But if we would submit to the process and accept opportunity as it comes, we will be shocked that it will actually help us become who we need to be. So for me, I'm like, Benny Medina is one of the principals of the company. Benny Medina is one of the most influential people in entertainment business. So what better way than every day when I was in the office to be right there with him, driving him from rehearsal. Check this out. We would go from rehearsing for the Soul Train Music Awards, right? And we're talking about Lil' Kim. We're talking about Puffy. We're talking about Mace. At the time, all the hot talent.
Yeah.
And then drive to business meetings, drive to award shows. And the whole way through, I'm listening to conversations, how deals get done, how you handle talent, how you handle difficult situations. And then in between, when he would feel open, I'd ask him a question. Hey, well, why'd you say this? Why'd you do that? It was training.
Yeah.
It was, I was getting my CEO training. I was getting mentored. I was getting brought up because too often we want to do it, but we don't want to submit to the process where we get to learn how to do it. And so I wanted to write that story to say, it was awesome because Benny gave me 3 things: opportunity, information, and experience. I didn't need money from him.
Yeah.
Give me opportunity, give me information, give me experience. If I have those 3 things, I will get money.
That's really good. And in the 10th commandment, your world is smaller than you think.
Yeah.
We know about 6 degrees of separation, but you say something about 0 degrees from our destiny.
Yes.
So can you kind of expand upon that? What does that mean?
Yeah, what I talked about is that, there's that old adage, 6 degrees of separation, and I talk about in the book the genesis of that, and then I also talk about, the kind of fun anecdote that happened years ago about 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, where, they would identify actors, and pretty much any actor was about 6 degrees away from Kevin Bacon. And what I talked about is in the natural, there may be 6 degrees, but from a spiritual point of view, there's 0 degrees. Because I do believe that when we operate in purpose, when we operate in destiny, when we operate specific to where we're supposed to be, and we're getting up every day, and we're putting preparation behind our prayer, and we're putting work behind our faith, I believe we align ourselves for God then to do something that in the natural makes no sense.
Right.
Which is, we think that the person that we need to get to is so far away. But we have no idea that the more we operate in purpose, the more we become great at what we do, that person that we think is 6 degrees of separation away is 0.
Yeah.
The people that I have in my life and the people that I've been able to meet and the mentors that I've been able to attract are people that I have no right on paper to know or have access to. But the degree between me and them has become 0, not just because of who they are in the world, but because of the path I chose to walk down. And so I wanted to put that in the book to help encourage someone to stop feeling like your hopes and dreams are so far away. They're much closer than you think because the world is smaller than you think.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to communities. Again, I talked about this earlier. It's like with business. The business community is small, no matter what industry you're in. People talk. They'd say, hey, who's good at this? Who's good at that? Who has a good reputation? That travels. So the very people you may think, oh, I wish I could get to know. You have no idea. Keep operating in purpose.
Yeah.
Keep showing up. Keep doing good work. They're going to be saying, hey, I need to get to know you. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so that's why I wrote that in the book. And that's what I mean by 0 degrees of separation.
I love in the book that you talk about pray and prepare.
Oh,
because sometimes, you even say that sometimes our faith can weaken us.
Well, here's what it is. Here's what it is. I love this concept. Is that the Bible talks about, faith without works is dead, right? So that means we have to be in works behind our faith. So too often we will say, oh, how are you doing? Oh, I'm praying about it. Well, how's your promotion? How's the job? I'm praying about it. Okay, now there's nothing wrong with prayer. But if all we do is stop at prayer and we don't put preparation behind that prayer, then what I say is that maybe our prayers, we're using that to mask our fear. Because we're afraid to act. We're afraid to step out into what we believe and do what we hear in our heart because we're afraid that it may not work. So as a result, we say, oh, I'm praying over it just to give ourselves more peace to deal with the reality that we know there's something we're supposed to do, but we're afraid to do it.
But isn't fear natural? I mean, fear is a natural reaction,
Precisely. But here's when fear can be detrimental. Fat is natural too. But too much of it can be detrimental to our health.
That's good.
So yes, fear is a natural byproduct of being human, without a doubt. But it's how we deal with it. So anything that we're afraid of, I believe that's the very thing we should do. I believe we should take our fears and turn it into our to-do list. So there's nothing wrong with being afraid. Fear can also, in certain instances, can save your life. Because you're afraid, you go into survival mode, it helps save your life. So fear can be used in a positive way, but we have to do that. When fear paralyzes us, and then we take that paralysis, and then we say, okay, well, I'm praying on it. No, the only thing that's going to help you overcome your fear is starting to do something. Yes,
it's lack of clarity, right? Because once you do the research and you know that you know, there's nothing really to be afraid of. You can speak with confidence, right?
I know, but too often I have found that so many are afraid of failing, afraid of how they're going to look. And I say, who cares how you look? And also I talk about in that same chapter that people think of failure as a setback. And I say
you see it as a setup.
Setup. It's a setup.
I love that.
When you're operating in your purpose and you're taking steps towards your destiny, I don't believe that there's anything called failure. Why? Because certain things may not work out to what you would have wanted. But what did you get out of it? You learned. You got wisdom out of it. You got information. You got opportunity. You got experience. You learn more about yourself. You learn more about your industry. So anything that doesn't go right, or what we would say right, is filled with vital lessons to help us get to where he wants us to be.
You can download my podcast, Redefining Wealth with Patrice Washington, and listen in on our 40-minute talk. 40 minutes of wisdom, of wealth, of goodness, of success principles that you don't want to miss. So download my podcast, Redefining Wealth with Patrice Washington, because Devon and I are committed to helping you live your life's purpose, find fulfillment, and earn more without ever chasing money.